then what are we waiting for?
Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to be live. Good to be live in front of the EstateX family. Guys, how have you been? How are you guys? Good? Oh, I mean you guys, you too. Are you guys good?
Oh,
Very well
us. I thought you
indeed.
were
Good to see
talking.
you,
Yeah.
Bart. How's it going? You okay?
No, I was like, why don't I get a
We're
response?
good.
Like this
I'm
makes it
good.
uncomfortable, but
I thought you was talking about the EstateX family. You're talking about EstateX family and all that. So I thought you was
the
greeting
estate
them.
family is definitely good. I mean, looking at the chart, they have nothing to complain at the moment. So, no,
Yeah,
ladies and
God, that's
gentlemen,
what I'm saying.
we got some very special big news today, and we're very pleased to be joined by Steve Craggs, who is our surprise guest. And this news that we're gonna announce very shortly will 100% change the trajectory, the potential of EstateX, the company, where we're heading towards, what is possible, and we're all going to deep dive into it on this AMA. So for the official introductions, I'll hand it over to my good friend um, Steve. Steve CMO, not not Steve
Yes,
Craigs.
Steve. Right.
It's
Okay.
getting
Thank you,
confusing
Bart.
now.
So yeah. So what I'll do is obviously I'm going to let Steve Craggs take it away, but I want to just frame this for everybody so everybody can really understand the magnitude. So where do I start? So basically, Steve Craggs, former CEO of Remax, and yes, that's right. I didn't mince my words. I said former CEO of Remax. Steve Craggs has officially stepped down of CEO of Remax England and Wales to be CEO of EstateX Web 2. He's now officially CEO of EstateX Web 2. There's a massive reason, the reason why he's actually left Remax to actually be a part of the EstateX family, and we couldn't be happier to welcome him on board. So we're going to get into it, but one of the main reasons, one of the things that I'm most excited about is obviously you guys are familiar with the previous RWA project, and they obviously had a partnership with DMAC, and they were just kind of like hovering around, 1, 2, 3x or whatever. Soon as that was announced, bam, into the billions. We all know by having these big corporate real estate partnerships into an L1 how much that can do. With Steve now having the freedom, actually being completely free, completely on board with EstateX, and also now the CEO of the whole entire Web2 division. Not only is he bringing his massive experience from the retail property side of things and the corporate property side of things, but also even just business structures as well. This guy is an absolute veteran, a business beast that I would call. So, us having that structure and that experience behind the Web2 side of things as us being a legitimate business as well as Web3 is so important. But back to the main reason why me, but everybody else is so excited about this announcement and why you should be excited about this announcement. Now Steve has the freedom to be able to onboard DMAC level developers for our L1 blockchain multiple times. Look at what that did for that one company, one time deal. Imagine if we're doing this multiple times per year. I'm excited. We can't say the name of some of the developers and some of the partners that we're going to be tokenizing. We're going to be announcing them obviously coming up near the blockchain and after the blockchain's launch. But they're big guys. They're big. And like I said before, we already know what happens when it happens once. We already know the effect. Imagine if we're doing that multiple times. So without further ado, I want to pass it over to and introduce you guys officially to the new CEO of EstateX Web 2, Steve Craggs.
I feel I need a drum roll actually, Steve. Where's the drums? Where's the drums? Where's the music? Where's the red carpet? Anyway,
Bam!
yeah, listen, I'm thanks, Bart. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So, guys, it's just really exciting times. As you know, I've been working with EstateX already, and as an investor, as a global director of distribution, and I think this just extra notch up is just phenomenal. And as Steve said, and look, guys, I've been watching the chart as much as you guys, as an investor, and as also someone's really involved in the business. And what a great job! I have to say, I mean, I've not been here for 4 years like these guys and 5 years, and what a great job. First of all, I'd like to congratulate these guys on what a phenomenal job they've done. And I think the rest of us, investors, whether you've been at the start, in the middle, or even recent, I think You're on the start of a phenomenal wave, and we're now all together. So, from my point of view, and I mean, I know we're going to have lots of questions, but I'm here to bring us sexy, great, phenomenal, solid business. We're here to bring phenomenal assets, phenomenal partners, as Steve said. He used the word, the name of Damac, which is obviously pretty well known in Dubai, and they're obviously expanded in various other areas. But we're talking about lots and lots of different partnerships that we're going to be bringing into EstateX pretty rapidly, to be honest. Which, as we said, we're not going to mention right now. But I have to say, global partnerships, regional partnerships, local partnerships, all of the above, and it's just really exciting times. And some of these partners that we're talking about have actually been following us. I've been watching the progress because developers, these big guys are always, what are these guys about? What are they gonna do? And now they've seen the launch and they've seen how quickly we've stabilized the trend, and we now growing, and I'm getting inbound calls. Hi, Steve, what's going on, and how can we get involved? So anyway, just really excited about bringing you guys lots of good stuff over the course of the next days, weeks, months, and infinitum. So anyway, um,
Amazing,
by those questions, that's
amazing.
this, guys. Thanks, Liz. And thank you.
Well, sorry, one sec, Steve. I just want to just jump in because there's a few people in the chat saying that they can't hear. I think that YouTube is fine. Guys, can somebody just speak to me in the chat? Can you guys hear us? Is anybody on Telegram can hear us, or is there something that's struggling? Is Twitter fine? Is YouTube fine? Is Telegram fine? This is a really, really big announcement. I want to make sure you guys get the exact context that is needed. Okay, everyone can hear. All right, this is Telegram. Amazing, amazing. All right, cheers. I feel like a streamer. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. All right. So back to you, Steve. And obviously, just continue. Let us continue to tell us why you stepped down from, Remax England and Wales, being the CEO of one of the biggest property brands, to actually become the CEO of Web2 of one of the most exciting, enterprising, innovative property brands.
I think for me, Steve, obviously Remax England and Wales, and part of being, Remax was fantastic, and what can I say? Being part of that journey. I think with anything, I've been in business 27 years, and in every stage of that business journey, you learn something new. What I really, it's not about what Remax wasn't doing; it's about what Estate X is doing. And I'm always conscious we have to be moving forward. And with Estate X, I just saw, I need to go and get myself a bodyboard or a surfboard, because we're on the start of a wave, and that wave is is forward thinking, and I want to be part of something that is going to create a legacy. And for me, there's nothing better than tokenization of real estate. It's the way forward. Everyone's talking about it. BlackRock are talking about it. Developers are talking about it. And I just thought, well, uh, I need to be more global, even though, as everybody knows, as I've said in some of my other videos, I already work in a global real estate market. But I think that now I'm unshackled, and I'm not saying England and Wales shackled me, but I'm now unshackled completely. And with this tidal wave that EstateX is bringing, it's just so cool to be on that wave.
Amazing, amazing. Because at the end of the day, it was like when the internet came out and online shopping, and there were so many big retailers in the UK and around the world that were like, no, this is just a wave. It's not actually going to be anything major. It's just going to be like here today, gone tomorrow. Everybody has a shopping experience. Everybody's going to have brick and mortar. And then the ones who didn't adapt faded out. It is that kind of like that evolution, that natural selection. And obviously, glad to have you on the right side of history. Glad to have you understanding where the future's going. And it's an honor, really is honor for you to be here. We know the experience that you bring, and it's more than just what's written in this guy's bio. And as the months and the years go on, you're really going to see the impact that Steve is going to have way, way beyond the property side of things. But the one thing that is very, very easy for everybody to understand is his contacts, his depth, his knowledge, the way that he can just really put deals together is just absolutely phenomenal. And the way that he's going to be bringing these crazy partnerships to O1 blockchain is going to be ridiculous. You know, it's because of Steve that our first property in Cape Verde was able to sell at 10% below market value, getting 7% rental yield over 3 years, paid up front by the developer who's doing that. And that's nothing. If you think that's great, wait to see what it is he's got to come. But sorry, Steve, continue.
No, no, no. This is what it's all about now. It's about bringing these developers on board, and now we are officially launched. I just think that this just gives just another perspective, another gravitas, another feather in the cap. That what you guys have done in the last 4 or 5 years, as I've said earlier, is now has come to fruition, and now we're not just talking about it, we're doing it. And I think for me now to go and bring those developers on board, bring those partnerships, substantial partnerships, it's it's great.
100%, 100%. And did you want to speak with the guys a little bit about your experience as well? A lot of people know who you are and experience, but there's a lot of new people that's just recently invested into EstateX or just found EstateX. Do you want to tell us just a little bit about who you are, your experience, and any more value that you haven't mentioned already that you're going to bring to EstateX?
Yeah, no problem. So I'm actually, if I go right the way back, I'm an accountant by trade, so I have some pretty significant financial experience. I then moved into a corporate role with Barclays, actually, as a financial on the financial services side, and then literally those are the only two jobs I've ever had. 27 years ago, I went into business, and I worked with Zurich Financial Services for a number of years, and then got into property. And I think it's like anybody you speak to when you talk about property, people fall into property, and I fell into property in the 2000s. So I was very much working with developers even then, mainly in the UK in the 2000s, working with the big corporates in the UK, house builders, actually selling significant amounts of units every single month. We were mortgaging them, we were selling them, we were furnishing them, we were letting them, we were building portfolios for clients. And then obviously we had the crash 2008. And I actually started then to live in Portugal for a little while, and then started in the European marketplace and then global marketplace. So I was working in Spain, I was working in Portugal, I was working then further afield, I was then working in the States, etc., with all around real estate. And over that time, I just started connecting with hundreds and hundreds and thousands, I suppose, agents within Europe and further afield, and then also developers, because we had the power. We had the power of numbers. We had the power of wide agent base. We had the power of purchasing power, let's say. So all the connections that we've built over the years remain. We've got good relationships with developers. We've got good relationships with agents, brokers, country owners across the world, and that gives us leverage. And that's what we now have to bring to EstateX, and EstateX's community is leverage. And this is what's so exciting about it, because as we've talked about already, we talked about white label solutions, which I'm sure you're going to be talking about in a little while. But white label solutions, who doesn't want a white label solution? Who doesn't want to be able to have their developments purchased via blockchain mechanism? Who doesn't want to have that these days? But they don't know where to go. So here we are.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. And a few things on that. Sorry, but I'll just say this. Having that financial experience as an accountant, one of the most important things in business is accounts, and obviously a lot of people fall foul of that as well. So having that is just obviously great foundational business experience that we're going to be getting from a Web2 side of things. Because as we're growing this unicorn, this Web2 corporation, it needs to be correct. It needs to be way beyond the crypto side of things. And then obviously just the things that you were saying before, about the white label side of things and just your contacts. I keep coming back to that, but I haven't even told you yet because I was speaking with Steve like less than an hour ago. Obviously, I won't mention the name of the developer. It's one of the ones we're most likely working with. They've already invested into ESX. This massive
Really?
developer, that big name, that big name has already invested into the
Crazy.
chart. This man right here, because they knew that he was involved. I don't even know if they knew that he was going to be the CEO of the Web2 side of things, and they've already actually been an investor. So we're going to be having Steve's going to be setting up a meeting with them next week, and all of us are going to be there. I'm going to sit down and plan world domination. So that potentially could be our first one.
That's cool. That's very cool. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm saying constantly. Like, yesterday when the price was down, the right people stepped up and recognized the moment. You've seen massive purchases of 10K plus, 50K plus, 20K plus, 30K plus, of the right people, the right business people, the right wheels who recognize the potential, see the foundations. With the USDT co-founder, but now also with Steve as our Web2 CEO, leading the corporate side, managing the whole corporate business and the country departments, etc., etc. So we really have a winner team now, with Steve on the corporate side, other Steve and me on the Web3 side, and lots more people. And obviously we have Reiner, who does billions of deals with pension funds, wealth funds, etc. Ron, who manages funds in Luxembourg. So we really have a proper and solid team to be able to disrupt the market. And that also brings me to my next point, for you, Steve, is obviously, great news for me to hear as well, that the developers are now investing in ESX. And obviously you mentioned the white label solutions, and we have developed like a very seamlessly investment but also asset management platform. And combining that with the blockchain that we have, the legal framework, we're able to facilitate bringing these traditional assets on the blockchain, setting up new business models for institutions, like we've repeated massively in the AMA marathon leading up to launch as well. And obviously, you're very close with these big developers who are undoubtedly looking at tokenization as a more efficient solution for the traditional system. Like, if you had to pick basically a sort of a skill on how far these developers are at the moment, to branch out into tokenization, how far along would you say is that? Is that step for these developers very near, or how would you estimate that?
So I mean, I'm thinking about 5 developers on my hand right now, and I think that some are already close to that space, and already like working with or close to. Um, but I think it's all about the ease of transaction, the ease of getting him on board with a blockchain business, and the I suppose the significant structure that they have confidence in. Because there's one thing being a developer and producing phenomenal properties, and there's another thing having a white label solution that works well. And that's what we're going to be providing, something that works seamlessly, works well, and can um, enhance and significantly enhance. I mean, you guys may know. I mean, obviously, I'm from the UK, as Steve is here. They've just started actually using Bitcoin to purchase properties in some of the agencies, which is a game changer. But that's still very limited. You know, so to be able to offer a full service to a developer, it's just off the charts. It's just a game
Yeah,
changer. And I think that when we look at the big boys out there, the big developers, the global developers, the big regional developers, they're all looking at this alternative. And I have to say, I mean, I'm away at the moment. I'm overseas right now, and that's why I'm sitting in a hotel room. Um, and even who I'm with today, these guys are massively tech orientated, and everyone's looking at blockchain. Everyone's looking at how can we tokenize assets.
exactly. 100% couldn't agree. The time is now. This was a year ago, 2 years ago. It would have been a lot harder. It would have been less, more of an uphill struggle. But because these guys now are open-minded to this, and then we have our platform that's that seamless transition from the Web 2
Correct.
into the Web 3, unlike anybody else that's doing the tokenization, as Steve mentioned, the ease of use with EstateX is unprecedented. It means that people like Steve are going to be able to move very, very quickly, very, very quickly. So exciting things happening.
Yeah.
And for but the people that obviously are on this AMA that may not understand or know about the blockchain, and just I saw something in the comments where somebody asked the difference between Web 2 and Web 3. Web 2 is obviously kind of like, the real world, the real world assets. Web 3 is more like crypto side of things. So, for example, Bart is still remaining the CEO of the Web 3 side of things. He's doing an amazing job. And Steve is coming in with the CEO of the Web 2 side of things. The Web 2 business, the real estate and, the banks and all of this sort of stuff is all completely separate to the Web 3. Yes, with that seamless transition, but there is that difference between Web 2 and Web 3. So Web 2 is the real world, Web 3 is more crypto. And Bart's CEO of Web 3, and Steve Craggs is the EstateX CEO of Web 2. So Bart, for the people that are new in the chat or people that just need to be reminded about why our blockchain is completely unique in comparison to everybody else's, and why Steve's amazing developer contacts are going to be so interested in coming over to us rapidly. Do you want to just explain our unique selling points?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I think you have to split it, like I always say, in a tech side and a commercial side. And if you look at it from a tech side, we've basically been developing this blockchain that we have wanted to work with since the start, right? You see a lot of blockchains which are functionable for tokenization, but not optimized. As in, if you look at Ethereum, for example, the gas fees can be unpredictably high. A lot of regulated parties, such as regulated registrars that we work with, do not support other blockchains than Ethereum. So it creates a sort of a haggle where some token standards are not compliant with certain geographical areas, or at least not optimized. So it's definitely not the best choice. So we've been developing this chain by Graham. If you've not watched what the exact tech specs are, make sure to watch the AMA with Graham last Wednesday evening. I'm sure one of the mods will share it now in the chat. Amazing AMA. We'll deep dive into everything. You will be amazed by how knowledgeable Graham is. But in summarization, what makes our blockchain unique is that we are developing an L1 chain, which is going to grow into different L1 chains, unified by a layer 0 settlement chain. And these different L1 chains will basically be optimized for different types of asset classes, different types of geographical locations, completely legally compliant. Until that's happening, we have one L1 base chain, and this L1 base chain has quite some unique tech specs, such as ZK KYC on the chain, where KYC can be GDPR approved on the blockchain, making it very easy to transfer data and screening processes of investors to other regulated parties that need to be shared into the data with a way more efficient backend. Extremely fast chain, extremely reliable, low gas fees. We're including a regulated registrar on the blockchain, and this basically has as function that you're able to put ownership of an asset on chain, proven, and these token sets and smart contracts are created in a regulated environment by this regulated registrar. That basically will say that the actual ownership of an asset is put into a smart contract. In case anything happens with EstateX or with anything EstateX related, you're always able to go to that regulated entity or the regulator itself, the financial supervisor, show your token set, and that proves that you own that asset linked to your KYC. There's no other blockchain that is currently doing this, and it makes giving out regulated security token sets completely legally compliant and proves the ownership on chain. Another thing that we're very keen on is giving out different types of token sets, legally compliant token sets. So according to the different geographical areas, whether that be, legally compliant in the United States, or legally compliant in the EU, or legally compliant in the UK, or legally compliant in the Middle East, we will make sure we have those compliant token sets for you. So these are some of the unique tech specs that makes our RWA chain the most efficient and most specialized for tokenization itself. And then apart from that, what I think also makes us unique is the commercial package that we offer with that. For example, with these institutions, for example, where we're able to put their assets on chain, give them asset management platform and white label technology. What we're also able to do is, with our regulatory framework, set up fractionalized offerings for them, where they have a huge database of investors, but if they're only doing wholesale of properties, they can now attract a whole new customer base, completely facilitated with the tech and the regulatory framework by EstateX, basically setting up new business models for them, opening new revenue streams. But also for crypto projects or RWA projects that want to build on the ESX blockchain, we facilitate token sales. They can raise funds through our community, but also through our investor database for either tokens, but also for asset offerings, basically funding them with whatever they need. Community building, we have the biggest community in tokenized real estate, a very large investor database. Currently in the Telegram chat, more than 1,500 messages a day, even after launch. At launch day, with more than 10,000. It shows the power of the community, where more than 70,000 people are in there, very active. So if we promote your project when you build on the ESX blockchain, that means that we're also able to build community for you and give you a new investor base. And besides that, the fundraising, the legal framework, the white label technology that we have for new projects and institutions, I think makes the EstateX blockchain and building on the EstateX blockchain, next to the technical components, something very special and a very unique package that is currently not out there in crypto, specialized for RWA projects. You're on mute, Steve. You're on mute.
Thanks. If that's the thing as well, we're in such an amazing space. It's such the perfect time as well. And I still can't believe that we're in a position where we are about to be leaders of RWA. Make no doubt about it. We will be leaders of RWA extremely, extremely soon. Who else is bringing the real world into RWA? You know, as I've said this on many different AMAs before, people have got it wrong. People got tokenization of real estate wrong. Like, if you go and stop 100 people in the street and you ask them, are you currently invested in altcoins? You're hardly going to find anybody, you know what I mean? But if you actually ask those same people, have you ever thought about owning a piece of real estate in your life? 100% are going to say yes. So as I say, it always blows my mind when you're hearing and you're seeing all of these Web3 companies doing tokenization, doing these blockchains, expecting mass worldwide adoption, being disappointed and confused why they don't have mass worldwide adoption, but they don't have things to set up to reach the masses. You know, they don't have that seamless transition from Web2 to Web3. They don't have some of the legal licenses, registrars, and frameworks that we have. They don't have, you know, the ease of use. They don't have like the marketing, the L1 blockchain, and just the ease of onboarding. You know, we could go to a sports team, we can go to multi-platinum selling artists, we can go to some of these amazing developers that Steve's talked with already, and we can onboard them easily. It's not a situation where you have to wait crazy amounts of time. It can be done very easily. This is so attractive. Everybody in Web2 is aware of the blockchain. Everybody in Web2 would love to keep their fingers and be part of the blockchain and get this blockchain revenue alongside their Web2 revenue. But everybody in Web2 does not know how to do this. Us being that gap and facilitating is absolutely huge. And we're not seeing anybody doing it anywhere near the level that we're about to do this. So it is absolutely exciting time. We cannot wait for the testnet to be launching next month, 16th of July, I believe. We can't wait for the mainnet, the main blockchain, to be launching a month or two after that. Can't wait for you to be seeing more of Steve, more of ourselves, and understanding just the amazing things that we're doing. Like what we're saying in here, we're biting our tongues so much, but it's for a good reason. And once we get these deals done, there's going to be phenomenal news, phenomenal AMAs. Right. It's so yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, you can see the look on Steve's face, like he knows what he's got in the works. I know what he's going to work. Bart knows what he's going to work. Yeah, exactly. And Steve probably knows more than this as well. Steve's very kind of like under promise, over deliver type of thing. So I know if Steve told us this, it's actually really this, you know, and some of the conversations I've had with him and some of the things that I keep learning about him is just absolutely mind blowing. So cannot wait for you guys to see it. And Steve, is there any other final words that you want to say to the EstateX community, or any other things that you want to mention that you haven't mentioned before? Or
I have one question for Steve before we close off and go to the closing remarks. I think some investors, and I might put you on the spot a little bit, some investors are also wondering what areas are you currently targeting for the EstateX properties? What are you currently exploring? What has your interest, and what do you think is a good fit for the platform? What you're currently eyeing?
Wow. Interesting. So as you well know, I mean, I've been sourcing products for some months actually, for us to Datex specifically. Um, we have a whole range of products actually, Bart, and everything from your regulars, what I call your safe, solid stuff, which is your villas or your apartments in a fully managed environment, maybe a resort operated environment, which we've got already in Cape Verde, to the other end of the scale where we've got a commercial asset where we might get something undervalued, we might get something giving us a really good yield, and a long-term contract. Right, the way to the other side of the spectrum where some guys will know or won't know, but yeah, where we get stuff under market value and we can flip, or we can get stuff off plan. For example, even right now we're looking at something. I won't say the destination, but we're going to get in as a StateX only. We're going to get in a pre-reservation. So this is like pre. You have to get on a waiting list to get even onto the reservation list to reserve. So we just want to get on the embryonic stage of everything. So I think we've got just and I think we talked about this before actually, Bart. We got something for everyone in all different locations around the globe, different sectors: commercial, residential, resort operated, flips, off plan, s- long leases, all kinds of different kind of real estate.
Great, great to hear. All right, um, Steve. Any other? I think Steve's freezing at the moment. Yeah, Steve. Then I'll pass it on to you for any closing remarks that you want to make about the StateX, about the potential, what you see, where this company is heading, anything to the StateX family. I'll leave it to you, the last word.
Which Steve's that, Bart?
It's
Sorry.
you, it's you. Yeah, yeah, Steve Rex. I mean, Steve Rex.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what I'd say is first of but first of all, I'm honoured. I'm excited. I think this is just a phenomenal company that's got a just phenomenal vision. You guys are visionaries, and I think that we just follow that visionary process, and I just so excited about the future. This is just the start of something that is going to be phenomenal. That is already phenomenal. Let's face it, it's already phenomenal. But we're going to build on something phenomenal and make it even more phenomenal. And I'm really excited to be part of that journey.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Steve. I know you're very, very, very busy. Also with the new role you've taken on. So very, very excited to be working together to push the StateX to the next level, to turn this into a unicorn and the billion-dollar company that it deserves to be, with the potential that it has, and the amazing developers we're onboarding on the L1 chain, the amazing properties that we're going to be sourcing, the big institutional investors we're attracting, and also opening it up for the retail side for everyone. So even Sharon can invest. This is an inside joke, by the way, because Steve always mentions Sharon on the AMAs, the 30-year-old single mom. So she's now become like a sort of a cult figure in the in the community. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time, Steve. Thank you so much for attending and your wise
Thank you
words.
very much.
Thank you so much for taking on this role and giving us our trust, and very, very excited for the future.
Beautiful. See you guys, and have a great day.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Bye bye.